Back here is our next case study from CA final paper 3 ICA booklet on MCQs and case based scenarios. Question number 21. The Chanakya Bank Limited was having 150 branches all over India by the year ending on 31st of March 2020. 10 branches of the bank were already covered for concurrent audit, and the bank's audit committee decided to include the below mentioned branches for concurrent audit for the year 2021. Okay. Banaras branch, which deals in treasury functions like investments and interbank borrowings, but not in bill rediscounting. Allahabad Bank, which started foreign exchange business from February 2020. Red Barely branch, whose aggregate deposits were more than 35% of the aggregate deposits of the bank. Sista and Associates Chartered Accountants were appointed as the stock auditors by the bank's audit committee for 5 branches for the year 1920. The bank's management appointed and fixed the remuneration of Sista and Associate Chartered Accountants as the statutory auditors also for the year 1920 for the same 5 branches for which they have been assigned to they have been given the assignment of stock audit. At the Kanpur branch of the bank, there were high value cash deposits in one of the current account during April 2020. Your firm has been appointed as a concurrent auditors for the Kanpur branch for the year 2021. The cash collected by the branch was remitted to currency chest on the very same day, but during the concurrent audit for the month of April 2020 itself, the auditor noticed that the branch was unable to show intimations sent via email to currency chest for the cash remittance. Answer the following questions based on the above paragraph. So this is what our case study we should answer according to the questions. Okay, let's go through the questions. Question number 21.1. Sister and associate chartered accountants were already appointed for stock audit by the audit committee for 5 branches. So whether sister and associate chartered accountants are authorized to accept the appointment as statutory auditor for the same branches? Yes or no? No, because statutory auditors has to be independent. Since the branch has already appointed them as a stock auditors, it means they are already working on some internal engagement with the same bank. So they cannot accept the appointment as a statutory auditor. So we need to select the correct option from the following. Sister and associates concerned chartered accountants cannot accept the appointment as it was not offered by the audit committee, and the bank's management is not authorized to appoint the auditor. No, this is not the correct reason. We should say that the sister and associates are already into some internal engagement, and hence they are not eligible to be appointed as statutory auditors of the bank. Option B says sister and associate chartered accountants can accept. Is that so? No. Even option C is saying that they can accept. So option C is also wrong. We'll go through option D. Sister and associate chartered accountants cannot accept the appointment as the audit firm should not undertake statutory assignment while they are associated with the internal assignments with the bank during the same year. So option D is the correct option. We'll go through the next question. Question number 21.2. Whether the bank's management is authorized to appoint and fix the remuneration of statutory auditors without consulting the audit committee of the board of directors or the members in annual general meeting. Select the correct option from the following. No, they cannot they cannot fix the remuneration as such. They need to consult the audit committee in a general meeting. Okay, the same should be passed in a resolution in the annual general meeting. They will go through the options. Option A says bank's management cannot fix or appoint the remuneration of the statutory auditors unless the same is passed by a resolution in the annual general meeting of the bank. So this is the correct option, but still we'll go through the other options. Bank management can appoint and fix the remuneration. Is that so? No. Option C is saying as they are already the stock auditors appointed by the audit committee, audit committee was authorized to appoint and fix. No, it has to be passed only in the annual general meeting, and a resolution to this effect has to be passed up. Option D says sister and associate chartered accountants were already appointed for stock audit by the audit committee, so the management is authorized to appoint the same as statutory auditors without consulting the audit committee or the members in the annual general meeting. No, this is not the correct provision that we are dealing with. This has to be remuneration and the appointment of statutory auditors of a bank has to be dealt only in the AGM, and a resolution to that effect has to be passed by the members of the bank. Okay, we'll go through the next question. Question number 21.3. You have been asked by your senior to verify the high value cash deposits at the Kanpur branch. What parameters or documents will you verify as the concurrent auditors of the bank? Select the correct option from the following. So what you need to verify? See, generally what the banker will ask, if you go to the bank today and if you deposit some amount, what the banker will ask? Suppose you are depositing some 10 lakh rupees. What will the banker ask you? They'll ask you your KYC documents such as PAN card, and they'll also look at the nature of your account in which you are depositing the amount. That means whether it is current account or a savings account, and the reason for such cash huge cash deposits, right? So they'll even check the reason behind such high value cash deposits and also the nature of the accounts. They'll ask you the KYC documents. This is what you know, because you are doing cash deposit now and you are a customer to the bank. But now you are a statutory auditor of the bank. So what you should do, you should verify the KYC. You should verify the reason for such high value cash deposits. You should also verify the nature of such account in which the amount is deposited. And also there is another obligation on the statutory auditors that the bank has to deposit these cash into the currency chest. So whether such deposits has been made, remittance to the currency chest has been made or not, and the proper remittance documentation has been maintained or not. So these are the things that you need to verify. You can't even skip any one of the points that was mentioned. You need to check all these things. Now we'll go through the options and we'll identify an option where we can have all these points to be addressed. Okay. Option A says concurrent auditors has to verify the details of cash remittance to currency chest only. Is that so? No. You need to verify from the customer end also. So option A is wrong. Option B says you need to verify the KYC documents of the customers and the reason for high value cash deposit in the account, like nature of business or sale of the property. No, yes, this has to be verified, but along with this you need to verify whether the amount has been remitted to the currency chest or not, and the required documents for such compliance, right? So option B is incomplete, so we can't select option B. Option C says verify the KYC documents of the account in which the cash is deposited, verify the reason for high value cash deposit in the account, like nature of business or transaction, etc. Verify the discrepancies found in the cash of the customers, if any, and ensure that the records of currency chest remittance is maintained properly. So this is what the complete answer that we are looking for. So option C is the correct option. But still we'll go through the other option. As a concurrent auditor, you need to verify the reason for regular cash deposit in the account and the nature of discrepancies, if any, found in the cash deposited by the customers. No, it is not only relating to the discrepancies that are arising in the cash deposits by the customer. You need to verify the remittance to the currency chest also. So option C is the correct option. We'll go through the next question. Question number 21.4. How the discrepancy of not preserving the intimations of cash remittance to currency chest by Kanpur branch of the bank should be dealt by the concurrent auditor in his audit report. Select the correct option from the following. So the question is asking from the concurrent auditor point of view. What the concurrent auditor will do? He will come on regular intervals and verify all the transactions done by the bank. Therefore, what he should do at the initial stage, he should discuss this matter with the management, bank's management, explaining them the importance of maintaining such records. And therefore, he should initially inform to the management that the maintenance of the records are mandatory and they are very important for compliance with the legal requirements. And if there is any discrepancy even in the second time, then you need to report in your audit report as a concurrent auditor. So initially you need to discuss with management and you should check the compliance by the branch in your next visit. Okay, because here the question is asking with regard to the concurrent auditor. We'll go through the options. Option A says the auditor should report the matter as a major irregularity in his audit report to the management. No, you cannot straight away say that this is a major irregularity. Yes, this is a irregularity that is being done by the branch, but still you should give an opportunity to the bank to rectify its mistake. As a concurrent auditor, you can give this opportunity, and even if the bank is not complying with the same, then you need to report in your audit report. Therefore option A is wrong, because option A is straightforward discussing with the ultimate option that is available to the concurrent auditor. Option B says the auditor should verify the details from email sent to the currency chest and close the matter. No, just because you have sent an email, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you are complying with the requirements. You should maintain a proper documentation of the same. Okay, even if you have sent an email. Option C says, as it is minor irregularity, the auditor can ignore the same. No, this is not a minor irregularity, because banks are always, and bank is mainly into a business of trading in cash. So this is not a minor irregularity that is being done on the part of the bank. And we'll go through option D. The auditor should discuss the importance of preserving the hard or soft copy of email sent for cash remittance with the branch manager and check for its compliance in the next audit period. Yes, this is what we are that we have identified, that he should give an initially auditor should give an auditor should give a reason that this is what has to be maintained, the importance of such documentation, and an option should be given, an opportunity should be given to the branch to comply with the same. And if the bank is not complying with the same, even in the second visit of the concurrent auditor, then the same should be reported in your audit report. Therefore option D is the correct option. We'll go through that's all. We have completed our question number case study number 21. I have received a query regarding some question. Let me go through. Just give me a second. I think it's question number 59. Yes, here is our question number 59 of page number 46. It has been asked to re-explain this question. This is an MCQ question. Let's discuss this. Your firm has been appointed as a statutory auditor by a nationalized bank for the year 1920. Your senior advised you to check all the standard assets shown in the balance sheet as on 31st of March 2020. While verifying, you observed that one of the accounts was regularized on 28th of March 2020, for which the interest and the installment amount was overdue from the quarter ending on 30th of September 2019. The account was regularized after the repayment of the overdue interest and installment amounts was done on 26th of March 2020. Only on the last day of the financial year was reckoned as the date of account being NPA by the bank. As a statutory auditor, will you agree with the bank's policy? See, the question is like a person, suppose Mr. A has taken a loan from a bank on the first day of the financial year, that is on 1st of April 2020, 1st of April 2019. Okay. Mr. A is not repaying the installments to the bank, loan installments to the bank. And such loan has been overdue from the second quarter itself. So second quarter itself, the installments were overdue on the part of Mr. A. So what happened? Mr. A has repaid the entire sum along with the penalties, interest, whatever, on 26th of March 2020. So it is like at least 5 days before the year end. So what bank has done is it has regularized the account on 28th of March because everything has been paid. Now, bank is saying that this person, Mr. A, loan given to Mr. A is not an NPA because the same has been paid as on the date of year end, that is of 31st of March. Now, will you agree as a statutory auditor with the bank's policy? That is what the question. So before you decide as to whether to accept the bank's policy or reject the bank policy, you need to verify few things. What you should verify? That no additional facilities has been granted to Mr. A from the bank. So it should not be like Mr. A has taken a new loan to repay the existing loan. So it should not be like that. So as a statutory auditor, you should verify that no additional facilities has been granted to Mr. A, and also you should verify that Mr. A has a genuine source of funds that are being used for repaying the existing loan amount. Okay, this is what the correct these are the things that you need to consider as a statutory auditor before you decide whether you are agreeing with the bank's policy or not. So this is what happened with this question. We'll go through the options. Option A says, as the interest charged in the account was overdue for more than 90 days for the end of the quarter, it should be classified as an NPA and should be considered as a substandard asset for the balance sheet as on 31st of March 2020. So suppose if you have identified that Mr. A has not been granted any additional resources from the bank side, any additional facilities, and Mr. A has a genuine source of repaying the amount. There can be a genuine reasons, right? Mr. A might have not received his actual sum, or his business hasn't performed well during those quarters, and in the last quarter his business has performed well and he got the sum. So he might have repaid the amount. So there is a genuine reason for not repaying the loan amount. So just because you cannot that the interest is overdue for more than 90 days, you cannot say that such a person, Mr. A, is an NPA and should be treated as a substandard asset. Therefore, option A is wrong. Okay. Option B says, as the overdue interest and the installment amount was paid before the balance sheet date, there is no reason to classify the amount as an account as an NPA. No. You need to verify whether any additional facilities has been granted or not, and you need to verify the genuineness of the resources that are used to repay the existing loan amount. Therefore, just because the loan has been repaid before the date of balance sheet, that should not be a case to identify, to classify an account as an NPA. Therefore, option B is also wrong. If that is the case, if you say option B is correct, if that was the case, every person who has taken a loan from the bank will take on the first day and repay on the last day. So the bank will suffer a problem and they'll not pay till the next year. So that should not be the case. So option B is also wrong. We need to check, we'll go through the option C. The auditor should not agree with the bank's policy to regularize the account before the balance sheet date, as overdue interest indicates more than normal risk attached to the business. No, just because it is overdue, you cannot say that this is a more than a normal risk that the bank is facing and you should not agree with the bank's policy. This is not the case. You should verify other things also before judging whether the bank's policy is correct or not. Okay, we'll go through option D. Bank can regularize the account before balance sheet date, but should ensure that the amount has been paid through genuine resources and not by sanction of additional facilities. Yes, this is what we have discussed previously. Okay, and the account remains in order, and the account remains in order subsequently. Question number 59. Yes, and the account remains in order subsequently. So bank has to verify that there is no additional funds or the facilities that has been granted to Mr. A, and also the genuineness of the resources that has been used for repaying the existing loan amount, and it should also verify that subsequently there is no overdue and the account is in order. It means the amount has been paid on or before the due date of payment of the installment. Therefore, option D is the correct option. Hope I have clarified your doubt and this question has been rediscussed upon your request. Okay, that's all for today. This 59 is MCQ question and we have completed 21 case studies. That's all for today. Hope these videos are helpful. If you have any doubt, please comment below with the page number and the question number so that it will be easy for me to identify. If you like these videos, please do like, share, subscribe and share with your friend and help them to revise as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching.